right, we're live. Welcome to the Zeall Show, episode 42 of News Reactions, where all the shows are unedited, unfiltered, uncensored, and unscripted. Only line scripted is the line that I'm saying. Yes, so just want to give a update to my viewers here. It's very interesting that I am slowly gaining my followers and a community on X. Very thankful on this, and I'm trying to build up the following on YouTube, and it is definitely not easy. So, but I'm happy to share the journey of my challenges building it through YouTube. But yeah, X is I'm very happy to have I will call it quite loyal viewers. So thank you so much for this. On Tuesdays, the Zeall shows are evolving. So some of you may know, some of you have clicked on my link tree, that I am really trying to keep my Thursdays open for very organic shows, meaning people that I know in the industry, whether it's from leadership perspective or from a crypto perspective, that they have done a lot, contributed to the society a lot. They have, well, to their companies as well, and have grown the companies so much that I really want to learn from them in the show, right? To speak to them and so on. And for them, and for many of the crypto people that I know have been in the industry for a decade, just like myself, I want them on the show as well, because I want to share with everyone how things have changed, how things have evolved, right? So Thursdays, I'm keeping organic. There will be sponsors, okay? There will be sponsors, but it is mutually exclusive from the guests, meaning there are no paid shows on Thursdays, 9:30 a.m., which is Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. But on Tuesdays is where all the different collaborations happen. I haven't thought about opening it up more because I have a lot of things to do, which I have a number of messages which I want to share. Tuesdays, which is the Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, different collaborations happening there, right? So just be prepared. The Monday, Tuesday shows will be more collaborations between different companies. So it's not fully organic, but at the same time, you will definitely learn from those shows as well. Okay, so those are my two, and I'm trying to distribute the information through three main channels for the Zeall show: X, LinkedIn, and through YouTube. I do share on my Instagram as well. I do share on TikTok as well. You'll find most all of my socials, which goes on to my message on the Linktree page. So if I go here and share with you, okay, just go here. Okay, you'll see on my Linktree page, I have my first video here, like my latest YouTube short. Obviously, if you can support me, give it a click so that it can increase the views on YouTube. And my upcoming live podcast, live stream with Dave Shin this week, I have filled up for the next 9 weeks already of different speakers. Let me just check to show you some of the speakers which I have lined up. Super amazing that they actually come and join my show. Next week, the week after this, we have a CEO of DYDX, Charlie will join the show. I'm very happy and honored that he will be part of the show. I have so many questions that I want to ask him. From the house of DYDX, how do you differentiate yourself? He was the one that asked me to ask him all the hard questions. So I'll definitely be asking the hard questions to him. And then we have my good friend, my partner in crime in Singapore, but not with me in the same company. She's the CIO of of Revo Digital Office, which is the sister company of Raffles Family Office, which manages over $12 billion worth of multiple family funds. Okay, so she runs a crypto fund within the Revo Family Digital Office. So we can talk to her about that. We then have another good friend, Loretta Joseph. She was on the earlier shows. She's coming back to talk about the different the journey that she's been on, and our works on the Commonwealth policy papers. Right, I'm pretty sure we can share some of the things that's going on and her journey. She's in Jamaica right now. Okay, so our show will definitely won't be. Actually, I won't say it's definite because right now Jamaica is 12 hours behind. Maybe we'll host it at the same time, right? Is either now or 12 hours later, right? Because it's 12 hours apart. She'll be talking about all the different journeys that she's been on the stablecoin policy paper we're working on together and so on. And then we have the Indian Crypto Research Group. That one is important. These are young guys working very hard in India. All right, so I want them to learn from them how they're growing the journey. People that work hard, and I really give credit to them. I really want them to be on my Thursday shows. And then another one based in Switzerland. So we won't have it at this time. This is around on the 22nd of May. So on that day, we'll have it in the afternoon. So her mornings, my afternoons. So I guess we'll be targeting. We will do one during the nighttime, so the U.S. viewers can hear it as well, and it will be her afternoon and my nighttime, and U.S. morning. All right, and then we have Anu Vance. She's the Chief Compliance Officer of Coinbase Singapore. So she'll be, to be honest, actually very, very early on when I was still at my old company, DTC, I actually interviewed her, but she was my first podcast and I really had crappy equipment, right? I learned a lot of lessons. Luckily, I learned it then so that I can take the lessons and come out to do this show, right? I learned it then, and then from then on, I learned a lot, and I told her I'm sorry that the sound was so crappy that I can't even put it on the show. I want to re-interview now. Let's talk about the things that we both like policy and so on. And she agreed. I'm so happy. So that one will be late May, and in June, early June will be Adam Rubin from he's the CEO of OmniWave. I find him very interesting. He's been doing quite a lot of things. I just had a call with him yesterday. So yeah, so we'll talk more about that. I hope to have a closer relationship with Adam Rubin on multiple fronts because it's on wealth management and so on. So I have my shows lined up for 2 months. I will still want to invite people, but I don't want people waiting 2-3 months. So when I'm hitting at this point, then I'll stop inviting people so rapidly. But if you want to be on the show, then right now the earliest time will be mid-June. Okay, mid-June. All right, so let's go back to this page. So this is my Linktree page. I have my latest live streams. This one will leave. Dave Shin will be on Thursday, Asia time, US time Wednesday. Previous live stream was Luis. So very similar, both are OGs in the crypto space. One based in Philippines, one was in Hong Kong, moved over to Singapore. And then my other call to actions, if you are supporting the show, please do buy me a coffee. This is my earliest, one of the ways that I'm asking for financial support so that I can continue supporting the show. And then subscribe to my YouTube channel. I know many of you are viewing it from X, but if you can also give me a subscribe on my YouTube channel, it can start boosting the priorities for the searches as well. And then my LinkedIn newsletter. So this one, I was thinking about it. So you can start to see that I'm actually writing LinkedIn. I have posts on LinkedIn, but then I'm also writing a lot of threads on X. So because on my newsletters, I usually would refer back to the different threads. So this coming Friday, I should be able to have a test of my first newsletter on X as well for the Zeall show. So you don't need to come to this side. Okay, so you can go there and view, but I will be sacrificing the number of subscribers here because X doesn't keep track of like article subscriptions, but I want my viewers to actually see, my community to see what's going on. So yeah, this is just a few days. So whoever, even from this side, has joined my newsletter, I thank you so much. On the 5th, when there are 500 subscribers, I will definitely do a thank you for post for everyone. And pretty thankful already that within a few days already had people subscribing, and now over 500. And if you have feedback on my newsletter, please do let me know, okay? And then I'll also be launching, this was a long time coming. I was supposed to launch this 4 months ago. After I resigned from my job as the Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Compliance at TTC, I was already planning to start my consulting because I have experiences that not a normal consulting person would have, all the way from the entrepreneurial side, starting a company, all the way to compliance. I definitely have skills that I can share. So from how to start companies, the strategy for that, the strategy for compliance, strategy for policy, I definitely have a very different edge compared to the different consultant companies out there. So the company is called Azentiq Nexus. Azentiq basically represents me, A-Z-E-N-T-I-Q. Nexus basically means everything that I touch. Okay, so the name of the company actually has a meaning. So, but I won't be launching a X account yet. I only have that many hands. I have AI helping me to run through my thoughts quickly. When I have questions, I ask it quickly, but I still don't have enough hands. So I'll just first start off as a LinkedIn account. And I hope many of you can also subscribe as well. Help me out there. And then from there, I'll have much more, I would say, more drier topics, posts that I'll put out daily on crypto, entrepreneurship, strategy, policy, compliance. Okay, but it's things to show that what I do know that I can help with the different companies that require help from me. Okay, so I'll start off with that. I actually have a website and also an ebook that I wanted to share, but I'll do it step by step. So today I'll be launching the Azentiq Nexus LinkedIn page. From there, I will have my first post today. Okay. All right. So these are two main things. All right. So let's go straight to the what the AI producer. Let's see what it has given me. I haven't checked. As always, it just produces the links for me, and the reasons why it produces these links for me as well. It tells me the reason. Let's have a click on the different links first. So it's usually two main topics: geopolitics, which I'm always interested in, and obviously about Bitcoin. I don't really talk much about the altcoins because it's just, I mean, it's all fully correlated with Bitcoin anyway. Okay, so it's on these things. Let's have a look. All right, let's talk about this. All right, so this article title, okay, gold and Bitcoin decouple. What's driving the divergence? First thing is, were they even coupled together, right? The narratives were coupled, but the price wasn't really coupled at all, okay? We're still at a stage where if we compare with the gold side of things, yes, we have different countries accumulating gold, right? But we don't have a gold rush now per se, right? So it's just gold being transferred between different countries. So it has been a safe haven for a very long time, a very, very long time. Whereas Bitcoin, yes, it actually changed from being a digital payment system, that's what Satoshi wanted, to a store of value. And it has only been like what, how many years? 16 years since 2009. And so the evolution from payments to store of value was less than 10 years, right? And we're still churning out, well, the system is still churning out Bitcoin, although that's not enough Bitcoin right now. So we're still at a Bitcoin rush stage, right? So different companies are buying up the Bitcoin to store, yes, for reserves. But we're at a rush stage where it's not a transfer just because of a safe haven. People still treat this as a risk asset. The narrative, Bitcoin wants to be the digital gold, yes, but it's still a risk asset. So if S&P, I've said this in many of my episodes before, if S&P goes up, Bitcoin goes up more. If S&P goes down, Bitcoin goes down more. But something is changing right now. Okay, something is changing because we are now seeing that the Bitcoin prices coming down is not as heavy compared to the S&P 500. I mean, we are at the levels of, if we look at the prices now, let me just log in. Give me a second. All right, I'm just logging on my other window. Wow, what a jump. It's 80,000 now. Okay, let me just show you the window. Right, so if we look at the daily chart, this is not financial advice. This is for me. Like myself yesterday, I did buy some Bitcoin options because it did touch the line. All right, so since it touched the line and it's trying to test this point, well, it's not there yet, but at least it touched this trend line. I decided to get some Bitcoin options. So it went down to the lowest of, what was it? 74. 74. Let me make sure that you guys can see it. Looking at the right channel, yes. Okay. So it went to the lowest of 74. And then it bounced back up. And then if you look at the S&P 500, wow, it's heavy. It is heavy. We talked about in previous shows that this was the support that became resistance. If it can't go up, it will go down like crazy. And you can see that we actually talked about it nearly a month ago. And it's correct. If it doesn't bounce, it's going to go down, right? And it really went down heavy, right? So it's sort of evolving the relationship between Bitcoin and S&P right now. But definitely with gold, it is not exactly coupled. If we look at the price of, I don't know if it works. Let's see if it works. Okay, so you can see here, right, that the gold went up, Bitcoin went down. Bitcoin went up, gold kept coming down. Whatever they write, okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, this is wrong already. It was never coupled at the beginning, okay? The narrative is coupled, but the price was never coupled. So don't get, just be realistic. Don't get lied to by these articles. gold is right, it's going on by itself. Bitcoin is more aligned with S&P 500. It was never coupled. And until the whole Bitcoin rush, so to speak, has died down, and then it's just the transfer of assets, then we can talk about coupling. Because right now, we're nowhere near coupling, as you can see from here. Okay? So we talked about this. So to me, this article is quite crap. At least I explained how I see the relationship between the three. What is this about? Geopolitics of energy in Nepal, balancing India, China, and the US. Oh, speaking of this, just sidetrack. I talked a lot about tariffs on both X and on LinkedIn. As I mentioned, economists keep saying that tariffs would increase inflation. By textbook, it does, right? But now it's the promise of the expectations of tax cuts that's balancing the effect, and also the Doge spending cuts. So when we say it's because of these three that you don't see a very high expectation in inflation, right? And people say it's crazy, and so why you're seeing that it's still inflationary. I don't care what people say. To me, logically, the golden triangle are these three things, right? Not only that, Trump made it very clear at the beginning that the tariffs are not forever. He has experience in 2016 where he did small amounts of increments to China to increase tariffs, and guess what? China increased the increments as well. So whatever he was trying to do was being cancelled out. And not only that, by doing increments, it didn't work. The amount of exports from China going to US increased in his first term. So he actually learned from his lessons. So now guess what? Since increments don't work, let's do a whole bazooka, which was what he did on April 2nd, a full set of reciprocal tariffs, right? But his main aim isn't the tariffs, okay? It was very clear. I don't know why it wasn't clear to people, right? It is so clear to me that when you do reciprocal tariffs like this, you must have tax cuts. If you don't have tax cuts, you don't have the spending cuts, it doesn't work. Not only that, it is also very risky. So he also said that it wasn't permanent. He was expecting the different countries, after implementing the reciprocal tariffs, to come to talk to him, right? And it is working as expected. You have Vietnam coming to reach to a zero to zero tariff on both sides. You then had an angry Europe at the beginning, now coming to the table to talk about zero tariffs as well. China, India, South Korea are all coming back to the table. Fighting head to head on with Trump, with the US, doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Look at the history for the past 100 years. Two regime changes. One was the Bretton Woods. There's one very good YouTube video on this, which validated my points. The Bretton Woods was also a regime change started by the US. And then you have the Reagan-Thatcher period in the 80s, which was also started by the US. Now US wants to change the regime again. And people are saying, do you trust an orange man, that keeps changing stuff? That's not the point. Does any other country have any other better solution for a global world order than the US? Right? We have had BRICS, and guess what? Where's the news? Nothing is happening. No one dares to fight the US dollar. I also have a post that I wrote about that. Okay, everyone's so against the US dollars, then okay, let's look at the alternative. We have Europe, the euro, and the Chinese yuan. Now, if we have the euro, would you be using that? Europe is still wanting to go and fight a war with Russia. They have the $800 billion rearmament initiative that they're willing to make normal savings accounts become IOUs for them, right? And in terms of surveillance, it's definitely way more than the US. US has already decided to not allow CBDCs because of this, the intrusion of privacy, right? But Europe is pushing out the digital euro, which surveillance will be to the max, right? Same as China in renminbi. The digital yuan is also already in effect, right? So if you don't use the US dollars, my question is, what else do we have here? I don't think it's a good idea for any country, including Singapore as well, to blame the US for changing the regime, because there is really no other good alternative, right? There is really no other good plan out there to become a good reserve currency. Yes, all right, we have Bitcoin. But if you heard me and Luis talk on the show, that, yeah, you can have Bitcoin as a store of value, but as a reserve currency, you can't even send 7 transactions per second, okay? The whole world requires more than 7 transactions per second, which is what Bitcoin can send only. And then when you want to pay in Bitcoin, you have to wait 10 minutes before you can have the confirmation that the Bitcoin went through. Bitcoin is only a good store of value, but it can't be a reserve currency, right? So from process of elimination, you really don't have much choice. Okay, so this is my thinking. There is no point fighting the US unless someone has a much, much better proposition. I think it's still better to negotiate with the US than anything. Yeah, it's not because I like the US, it's because we really have no choice. We really have no choice. All right, so that was my talk on the tariffs. Let me just go on this. I don't know what this is about. We don't have much time. As per usual, I'll go on Grok and ask them, what the heck are you talking about? Okay. It's just 1 second. Let's have a look. All right. Can you tell me what this, oops. All right, let me sign up first. I mean, sign in. All right, signing in. Wow, the Cloudflare thing really takes a while. Yeah, maybe my whole section on tariffs should put it into a YouTube video, not just shorts. All right, so let me put it back in again. What is this about? Article discusses Nepal's complex position in managing its energy sector, particularly hydropower amid geopolitical influences from India, China, and United States. And as per normal, what I usually do is check the map. Okay, let me just open Nepal and then I'll move the window over for you to see. All right, so this is Nepal. Always paranoid, just making sure that you guys are actually looking, can actually see my screen. Yes, okay. All right, this is Nepal. So where is it right now? Is it not right now? Is it where is it? Okay, so Nepal is being squeezed between India and China. Very similar situation to Bhutan. Interesting. Okay, so there's no sea, no nothing, but they have hydropower. Where, so they are getting the hydropower from the, are they generating themselves? I haven't read yet. I'll go back to that. They only have streams. Are they generating hydropower from these streams? Let's have a look. India as Nepal's primary electricity export market. Okay, so it exports to India. It has historically played a dominant role but has restricted power purchase from China-involved projects. Interesting. Pushing Nepal to align more closely with Indian interests. wait, played a dominant role but has restricted power purchases from Chinese involved projects. Okay. China, viewing Nepal as a strategic gateway to South Asia, has invested. Interesting. So if we look back at the map, Nepal, going through South Asia, can also go through Bhutan. Oh, but if you from a angle of, you know, a bigger window, definitely Nepal has a much wider land diameter for them to enter. Okay. Infrastructure, including hydropower, through initiatives like the Belt and Road Project. Oh yes, they're part of the Belt and Road. Through political instability and debt concerns has slowed progress. The US has entered the fray, offering financial aid through programs like the Millennium Challenge Corporation to counterbalance. Wow, there's a lot I want to ask. To counterbalance Chinese influence, though its engagement has faced setbacks under shifting policies. The piece highlights Nepal's challenge in balancing these external pressures while addressing domestic energy concerns. Okay, actually I have a lot of questions. One is, how does it generate hydropower? Nepal doesn't seem like it has a lot of water streams. What is the Millennium Challenge Corporation? I'm not clear who is restricting who. You say that India, their main export market is India. Is India restricting them, or China restricting them to export to India? Sorry, I really don't get that part, so let's just ask to make it clear. There are no stupid questions anyway. So let's see what it says. Interesting. Is Millennium, let's just edit this. Is it a NGO similar to USAID? See, by doing this, all these different posts, I'm also learning myself. So might as well, let's learn together. But it's hydropower. Okay, so Nepal's hydropower potential comes from its unique geography. The country is situated in the Himalayas. Ah, that's right. The stream from the glacier melt. So it's not just the land, it's from the high mountains. Okay, now that fully makes sense for me, because I forgot about that. My maps are 2D, so we can't really see, right? But it's actually from the mountains coming down. Totally makes sense. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. So now I understand. So most of the water is generated from the mountains coming down, which exceeds 440,000 megawatts. Though only a small fraction is currently tapped due to infrastructure investment challenges. So the MCC is a US government agency, so it's actually belonging to the government. Okay, so they actually have a mandate, and not a loose one like USAID, which was established in 2004 to provide foreign aid. So I don't know when does the US, maybe if you guys know, when does the US have a agency that does foreign aid within the government? When does it not want to have within the government? That's why I understand where Elon is coming from, where if you have an NGO that does it and it also does foreign aid, why isn't it done within the government, right? If it's done outside, that means there's some things that are done that we can't see. They don't want the government to see, which allows them to be more flexible. So anyway, the MCC focuses specifically on large-scale country-led infrastructure policy reform projects. It operates on a competitive grant model where countries meet eligible criteria to receive funding. MCC has pledged hundreds of millions for electricity and road infrastructure to boost energy. While both MCC and USA comes from the US government, MCC's approach is more targeted and conditional. Yeah, as I said, it's not as flexible, it's more direct. Okay, so who's restricting who? India, as Nepal's main electricity export market, is one of the most imposing, is the one imposing restrictions. Oh, India imposing restrictions, okay. The article indicates that India has limited its purchases of Nepalese hydropower to projects that align with its interests. Specifically, it avoids buying power from projects involving Chinese investment projects. Oh, wow, they've become a pawn. Another chess piece. This stems from India's geopolitical rivalry with China. Okay, now I understand. So Nepal wants to export more surplus power to India. But the stance complicates as many projects are tied down to Chinese involvement. Wow, the Belt and Road. So you can see it's not just Nepal. Any Belt and Road initiative that is between China and India is always going to have this problem on how to deal with the Belt and Road Initiative, which gets investments from China. It's actually not investments, it's more of a loan. But yet, you can use this and then build infrastructure to export to India. But India doesn't want that, because India knows that if they keep doing that, they're actually helping China more. Wow, I definitely don't want to be a leader in this part of the region. It's not easy. That's why Bhutan is smart. By using Bitcoin, that's why Bitcoin is what it's supposed to do. It allows you to have the freedom to decide on what you want to do. Unfortunately, Nepal did not see this. They have the hydropowers. They could have used this to build up their mining capabilities. But instead, Bhutan was smart and they did it. Right? So they have another leverage. Bhutan has the leverage where Nepal doesn't have. Nepal is stuck between the two countries, China and India. Or Bhutan can have more say, because if India is not happy with Bhutan or China is not happy, well, they have Bitcoin to, the mass of Bitcoin can actually help the country, right? What they amassed through Bitcoin mining. So Nepal maybe should have considered that as well. But all right, okay, that's what it's about. US coming in, I don't know if that really helps. But I don't know what's stopping US's involvement in the project. And that's one last question before we move on. So has MCC helped out Nepal at all, or not much funds or impact has gone through MCC to help Nepal? So I'm asking if the funds actually helped out. Did it have any impact at all for Nepal? So it actually had a compact signed in 2017, ratified by the Nepal's parliament, a $500 million grant in 2022. Wow, it established in 2004, and only 18 years later that it was useful for Nepal. Okay, so $500 million grant in 2022. That's good. Okay, but at least it's a grant. It shouldn't have that much of a strings attached compared to investments from Belt and Road. So this should give Nepal more leverage than the investments from the Belt and Road by China. Okay, this is good to know. Okay, talked about Nepal. Bitcoin could crash below key support levels as resilience seems short-lived. The crypto may head towards 55 if it breaks towards 73, analysts say. Okay, let's see. Let's look back at the chart. Let's remove let's just look at Bitcoin. How can I remove this? Okay. All right, so let's look at this. Why is it in percentage? Oops, sorry. All right, 55. So where is 55? Let's analyze. I see what the analyst is saying. Yeah, okay, it's it's not a scare. It is normal, right? 55. From a daily perspective, daily chart, looking at the support and resistance, if we look more closely, right? This is why the analysts say it's 55 if it breaks down here. Even me, I'm praying that it must bounce back up from 73, because this is the level that was the last high for the last cycle, right? If it doesn't, if it breaks down, then this is actually a very weak support. It may even break down further. But then we had a few things to support the 73, right? There's no inflation, as the inflation is actually not that high. If we look at true inflation, I think here it should show, right? It's going lower. True inflation is around 1.46%. Current Fed rates is much higher than that. So the short-term rates, let's just ask Grok here, okay? What are the short-term treasury rates today? 2-year rates. Yeah, 3.5. True inflation is at 1.46, so we're actually way higher, right? So Jerome, everyone on Polymarket is betting Jerome Powell would lower interest rates by May. That would definitely give Bitcoin a boost, right? And I still think that that would actually help. And if we look at the long-term charts, breaking down over 70 is actually very dangerous, because it literally breaks this monthly chart. If it goes down to 50, right, 50 is around here, then let's make it even more accurate. Okay, let's say these touching these points. Actually, you can't do it like that. All right, breaking around 50. It will take a few months, unless it breaks now, right? But if it breaks 50 in a few months, that's very dangerous. That means it's breaking the bottom part of the monthly trend line, right? I hope it bounces above 70, because 50 doesn't make sense. But yeah, okay, let's take that to know. Okay, all right. So so this is the thing, the news of the tariff, which again, S&P 500 falls. That's why Bitcoin is falling and not linked to gold at all. So we talked about this already. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. Wow. We talked for 45 minutes. We talked about a number of topics. Let's just sum it up. We have again, always visit my link tree for the latest podcasts, live streams. I have all my live streams, weekly guests, all the way till early June. If you guys, anyone that want to listen to, want to join, I'll try to reach out to them. Just let me know inside our family chat. Join our Zeall Show community. If you're on LinkedIn, subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. You guys also help me sign up for my YouTube channel. If you guys support what I'm doing, please do buy me a coffee. And also some of my books that I have written up as well. Okay. We also talked about Nepal, why it's always in between. To me, this is a leadership thing. You can see Bhutan had a much stronger leadership, okay, trying to get their cards on their side. And now having Bitcoin on their side, it's not as hard compared to Nepal when they need to negotiate. Because if they don't like a deal, they can say no. But Nepal is ridden with debt, and yet you have these big powers playing around. They really have to be very careful with who they work with, right? And how they work their cards. Talked about this. Gold and Bitcoin was never coupled at all. Okay, so don't listen to this. Only the narrative is coupled, but it's still not there yet. It's Nepal. We talked about that. Bitcoin prices, we talked about that. Dropping below 55,000 is actually very dangerous. I hope it bounces above 73. And I'm still betting on that myself, not financial advice. Okay. And so, yeah, that's it for today. So Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I'm very excited to have Dave Shin coming on the show. I've known him since 2013, so more than 12 years, He was the talk of the town in Hong Kong, right? Because someone from TradFi, loving crypto so much, we always wanted him to be on different talks. Even when I had my Bitcoin party in Hong Kong, very early in my startup days in 2014, I wanted him there. We also helped out in, he had a bigger hand in helping out the Hong Kong Bitcoin Association. Yeah, so most of the intangible infra, Dave Shin was one of the early OGs to help out. And so hope to learn a lot from him. So yeah, so for the ones in Asia, have a great day ahead. And for the ones in US, have a good evening. And I'll see you in Asia Thursday and in US Wednesday night. And see you again.